Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Tuesday morning. So, dear me, I keep trying to get a day where I can concentrate on the Dylan Rounds case and make a video on the updates in that case. But things on Ben Hill Road continue to get weirder and weirder. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a Dylan Rounds update video. But for today, I want to discuss a couple of things. Firstly, Fred Hill. Fred Hill is Andy Bernard's cousin. They share a common ancestor, Ben Hill, who Ben Hill Road is named after. He's Fred Hill's granddaddy, Andy Bernard's great-granddaddy. So that makes Fred and Andy first cousins once removed. Fred talked to Ziggy in January when she was there in Tennessee. And he also spoke to her around the June 15th, because on June 15th, 2022, on the year marker, there were some vigils and things going on in honour of Summer Wells. Ziggy went to those while she was down there in Tennessee. She went and had another lengthy conversation with Fred Hill and his wife. But there's part of a call that she's not released before, which is very, very, very interesting. Now, I'm not going to play it on this channel because Ziggy's only just released it, so I want Ziggy to get the views for it. She did the work. So I'll put a link to the call. It's only like 7 minutes in the description box, but Ziggy did a live on it and talked kind of around it, the context, etc. A longer live, so that's on her channel. So in this call, Fred Hill told Ziggy that he'd been an informant for the TBI. What? What? So he said he was only being an informant for this case and this case alone. He didn't want to do anything else, like get people into trouble for drugs, etc., etc. It was only for Summer. He wanted to help the TBI to help find Summer. So he wore a device. I think, from what I can understand it, the device was kind of, you know, one that you put in your pocket. So he's wired up basically. And he switched this device on whenever he had a conversation with Dawn. But I got some questions. So I don't know when he was using this device to record Dawn. I'm assuming by the context of it that it was very early on in the case. Because if you remember, if you've been following this on Ziggy's channel, Fred told Ziggy that Don came to see him. And he had the eldest boy with him. Came to see him like 3 hours after Summer disappeared, or after Summer was reported missing, I'm guessing. So that would have been like, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock. He went down the road to see Fred Hill. And Fred said that Don was acting really weird, but his daughter's missing. Like there's a whole lot of problems going on, you know, at 110 Ben Hill Road. You know, the police are there. They've got the search teams out by now. A very scary time for any parent. But Fred was disturbed because Don was just saying, like, he'll see her in the resurrection. Well, if you're saying that, you know, she's dead. You know, we're not talking here about a missing girl who's wandered off and she's lost. And they're going to find her, and they're going to find her alive at some point in the woods. No, he was already talking that she was dead. You'd see her in the resurrection. Now, I think this is partly to do with kind of the doctrines that he's following from the SDA church. You know, he talked to, I think probably Cher, fairly early on in the case, about religion and about something was coming, something bad was coming, and, you know, only the good would make it into heaven. I can't remember the exact kind of doctrine he was talking about, but this very quickly was said, like super quick, 3 hours after someone was reported missing. Don was talking this way to Fred Hill. So it's not surprising if he was saying that to Fred, if that's true, then he could have also been saying it in the earshot of the cops. And that would be alarming for any officer. The dad of a missing girl saying he'll see her in the resurrection, like just a few hours. You know, for the first few days, they were very much hoping, like law enforcement and the searchers, were hoping that she'd be found alive, you know. But not Don. And it was a massive red flag for me when this came out, not from Fred Hill, because we only heard from Fred Hill in January, but from Don himself early in the case. It was a red flag. It made him very suspect in my mind. Why was he saying this? Because of his religiosity and kind of knowing that terrain and the chances of actually finding someone alive after a few hours. You know, he said that as soon as he arrived home and he went down to the creek and saw his boys and he saw his neighbour there, he knew she was gone. So he got it in his head. And a year later, I kind of think, I don't know if Don was involved. He's on the list. Fred agreed to help the TBI. So whenever Don spoke to him, and Don spoke to him a lot at that time, Fred said he just kept going there. He wanted Fred at one occasion to take cocaine with him. Was he going there for solace, to speak, to talk to somebody? Because he's a grieving father? Yeah, probably. But out of, you know, law enforcement honing in on Don and Candice very early on, guessing that they had two theories very early on. Either that she'd wandered off and they'd find her fairly quickly, or the parents were involved. The parents did something. So Fred was wearing this device, and once he turned it on, the TBI could hear it. The TBI could hear it in real time, and someone could listen to it, monitor it. It was weird because one time when Fred turned the device on, there was this like really weird laughing noise. And then the things that had recorded over the last few days were wiped, which is really weird. Now, according to Fred, there's no way he could have done that himself. Like, this device is such that Fred can't tamper with it and wipe it. And the TBI actually heard the laugh themselves, like when they were listening to it in real time. But some recording of it was lost. Now, if this was very early on in the case, as I suspect it was, and I kind of want to know the dates of when Fred was wearing this device or using this device, but I think it was early on in the case, and I think it was only when he was talking to Don. I think. I don't know. I mean, is it when he was only talking to Don? Which is interesting if that's what the TBI had told him to do, because it means that they were honing in on Don specifically. And I think that might have been an issue. Now, I don't know what happened with this device. I don't know how long he used it for. And obviously the TBI didn't get anything, didn't get any confessions or anything from Don. He's adapted various kind of parts of the story, but the basics of what he was told, or what the script was, he's remained pretty constant on it. So presumably Fred didn't record any confessions from Don, or else he would be in jail, but he would have been arrested. So does that mean the TBI cleared him? The fact that Fred was asked to use this device, and we don't know how many other neighbours were asked to use the device as well, we don't know. Maybe other neighbours were wearing devices as well to record conversations. It'd be interesting to know. But if a neighbour is trusted with this kind of device, does that mean the TBI don't believe they're involved because they're kind of getting them on side and getting them to help? It's interesting, isn't it? Interesting factoid in the case that this happened. Presumably it happened. We've only got Fred Hill's word that this happened. But I could believe it. I could believe it. But that's a mistake on the TBI's part, because if they honed in on Don early on it means that they potentially missed information that was being said by other parties, by other people. Now, Fred told Ziggy that Jodisue and Andy sat down in their vehicle. They sat down on Ben Hill Road for 3 days, kind of listening and observing what was going on at 110. You know, we know Jodisue was there. I think it was day 2 when the search dogs was there. She was out there on Ben Hill Road with her own dogs, taking her own dogs for a walk just as the search dogs are coming through. You know, one stopped at her feet. We know Jodisue was down there. Was she down there for 3 solid days, as Fred Hill said? Listening, observing, wanting to know exactly what was being said? Maybe, maybe. Now, I've gone back and listened to all of those early Facebook posts that Jodisue made because, you know, in the last couple of months, she's firmly on my suspect list. Not a witness anymore. She's firmly a suspect. And things just get weirder and weirder and weirder with Jodisue. You know, we know the things that she's claimed about Andy, I, and numerous other creators have talked at length about that. But listen to what she said before Summer disappeared. And listen to this with the lens that just a few days later, Summer would disappear from right under Jodisue's nose. So I've recorded this from Squaltit's second channel, Squirrel Teats, because Jodisue has, it looks like she's privated her entire Facebook account. I can't find it anymore. So there's no date on this, but I think it's June the 12th. I think, if I remember rightly. She's been to the hospital in the day. She talks about radiation, and you can see a hospital band on her wrist. She'd been to the hospital, then she had to go out and get a tattoo because her tattooist, I think, was going to jail. And it's the recording that some of you will have heard clips from of her saying that she would smother a baby.
Yeah, that's hitting, and then I keep smelling fresh babies. Yeah, don't even look at me, you heard me. But fresh babies are fresh babies. And, oh, you know, I mean, irradiated currently, and no more babies for me, but give me surgeries couldn't probably help me anyway, and if something's wrong, I'd smother with a fucking pillow. But definitely, I don't want to have to go through amniocentesis to see what the fuck's wrong, or risks, or whatever, and then abortions and whatnot time after time. So we're gonna call it a day, be retired. Both my kids will be grown by the time I'm 40, and I'm gonna sail off into the fucking sunset, y'all. Besides, ain't no point in thinking about babies from dying of cancer.
I think it's a joke. I hope it's a joke. That if she had a baby at this point in time, due to the radiation, the baby might have issues. So it's disturbing, but I think it's a joke. She wouldn't really smother her baby. Just looking through the lens that, 3 days later, a 5-year-old girl would disappear from right on a hill. It causes, it's caused to raise your eyebrows, isn't it? I guess. But it's the property stuff. On and on and on about the property stuff. Because she knows that the land, the 2 acres in what she calls her front yard, that Jackie Dobbs bought.
Because the official sale of that piece was on the 7th. You tell them that I hope it eats that fucking bitch alive. Because they got maybe $3,000 of that property, but somebody's got a loan for $487,000 to try to build a $500,000 house on that piece that I hope falls off the goddamn bank. I hope her greed eats her and everybody else. Had she taken my offer, which was way over what the fuck anybody deserved and what that property's worth, because unless ours comes with it, it ain't worth a goddamn fuck.
June the 12th, she was banging on about it because she wanted that land. She wanted that land.
And they can't build on it. I just want to make that clear. And she knew, here's the thing. I just want to let everybody know, because I'm just at the point where I'm going to start shit and I'll burn the goddamn creek down. They knew what they were selling. Somebody needs to maybe whisper that for the first time in history of Beach Creek, people are tired about fucking staters and out-of-towners thinking they're going to move the fuck in there and do this bullshit. I've never seen anybody move on top of anybody else that wasn't family inside of the country like this, but here we are.
Her offer wasn't accepted and she was smarting about it. She was pissed about it.
That there are people that have already signed statements saying that she called them months prior to listing, and she was well informed of what she was selling, knew that our springs and our well, which I've already been assured will not be built on top of by the permit guy and the courthouse. So these people, when they show up and the bank's not done their due diligence, and Joey fucking Hahn with Clinch Mountain Realty, and this dumb bitch knew what she was selling and was offered the surveys, which we pulled out of our goddamn closet since they're all family. And let's make no mistake, before y'all go whispering in Beach Creek, but Andy and them and everybody else, they're all fucking kinfolk. And that's why that existed in our closet, along with our neighbors who has theirs framed, and we now have ours also in a frame. Knew what she was selling. She didn't get anywhere near the asking price. And if her and Sarah had simply taken our fucking cash offer, including the offer to go ahead, which is, I mean, it's like our neighbors told her it ain't even worth fucking $400 an acre. It's not. It ain't shit. But I offered her way more than that cash, and to pay the fines and shit for pulling out from the realty place if she just stopped the goddamn sale and took it. I hope she enjoys that $3,000 or $4,000 cash she got. Either way, she's getting ready to be sued by whoever just bought that fucking shit, and I really don't give a good goddamn.
And then right at the end, she comes back and she says, "What? Something's coming."
I think we all need to thank the science teachers, even the weird creepy ones that wanted to date us, fuck us, marry us, whatever, weird teachers through elementary, middle, and high school, for at least teaching some of us science, because I feel something coming.
Now Andy's there in the car saying he just wants to go to bed. He just wants to go to bed because it's very, very late. And she's talking. Doesn't look like she's scared of him at all. You know, regarding the domestic violence claims. Doesn't look like she's scared at all. And then 2 days later, she has the altercation with Jackie Dobbs. Throws him completely under the bus, gets loads of people to think he's suspect number one. All that's come from Jodisue. And then just 3 days after this, Summer disappears. Is Jodisue involved?
But the point is people would have made it more had they just taken our fucking shit. And none of this would be happening and people wouldn't be in danger. I really don't give a good goddamn. Nobody's feeling safe with the situation that's going on. That's how uncomfortable it was the other day. And then I also have an entire road full of fucking weird road crew the other day that I had 2 goddamn dudes drop their pin on purpose, like a chick trying to just get you to stop. You know, like females, we have, and I don't care what anybody says, we have that tendency to be like, whoops, I dropped something, and I know it's a 50, 60 thing, you know, whatever, before we can be brazen and out there and be like, hey, why don't you just give me the dick? Why don't you stop and ask me out for a date? Now, you know, we don't really do that too much, but we know the drill, right? These guys pulled that shit on me, dropped pins in my car, in a place that I couldn't really get them good, where I had to lean over. The entire car was surrounded. I'm not talking about 5, 10, 15, but like 50 men. On both sides of my car, it was very fucking strange. And then every day it's some honking there. Like this morning, my daughter was sitting there, and they were again honking. And I don't know why. You know, they've got the number to call him, so if anything, you know, because there's certain trees that are not to come down. There's been all kinds of shit going on through there. They're running electric companies to run the main lines again to cut the trees down, right? That's what it is. Around them. But there's other things going there that are 3 companies in one. It's all fucking bizarre. But it's almost like, you know, the helicopters aren't going to cut them down with the chainsaws. These things have been here since his family settled Rogersville. Some of the first settlers in Tennessee were not cutting those fucking trees.
Did Andy really supply the drugs that sedated the girls so they could be touched? Or is she dropping him in it? I don't know. You tell me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been Michelle. Hope you're well. See you in the next video. It's goodbye from Miss Tillington, who's walking nicely. And Miss Cassie Springer. Bye, guys.